What medications can cause memory problems? If you or someone you love have recently been dealing with memory issues and you're on medications, you may have asked this very question. If that sounds familiar, then you are in the right place. I'm here to answer that question in today's video, so let's dive on in. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Shockley, Doctor of Cause Chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine and specialized in clinical nutrition. In this video, I will be sharing with you the top 10 types of medications that are linked with memory loss. If you're looking to preserve your memory, then you want to avoid these like the plague. Then we'll cover a hidden cause of memory loss, why self-medicating can go really wrong. And finally, I will be sharing with you the best way that you can eat if your memory is slipping. You really can eat your way to better memory, and it's something we do every single day. So you might as well make strides in the right direction. Let's get started. What are the top 10 types of medications that are linked with memory loss issues? Well, I am not going to explain the details of how each one of these impact the brain and brain function itself and ultimately can start robbing you of your memory. I am just going to list out the types of medications. Now understand, there is no way I can list out exactly every single medication because, oh my gosh, they're continually changing medications. There's generics of everything, and that list is ever growing. So the types are what we need to know more about. Now, here's a disclaimer for you. I did not put you on your medication. I am not taking you off of them. So after you listen to this list of the different types of medications that are linked with memory loss, if you are taking a medication that is of this nature, I do not recommend you just take yourself off of them. What I recommend is that you have a conversation with the MD who prescribed them to you and see what type of a plan you can create to work to get yourself healthy enough that you don't need the medication any longer. Okay, so I have to put that out there because I don't want you to try and do something that could end up putting you into a bad situation. Because here's the thing with medications. If you're on a blood pressure medication right now and you're taking, you had high blood pressure, that's the reason why they prescribed it. If you did not do anything to change your life and you simply stop taking that blood pressure medication, do you believe that your blood pressure will actually rise again? The answer is yes. See, medications aren't fixing the problem, they're masking the symptom that the underlying problem is creating. So your blood pressure issue has not been resolved simply because you're taking a blood pressure medication. The medication is just keeping your blood pressure from going higher than where it should be. But the underlying cause of why you had high blood pressure in the first place is not being addressed. So if you take away any of these medications that I'm going to give you here in a moment, whatever the reason is that you're on them, that reason will surface again because the underlying cause has not been addressed by the medication. Make sense? Okay, we'll get into this. Like I said, these are the top 10 types of medications that are linked with memory loss. I will give you a few examples, and of course, you probably can pronounce these just as well as I am, so I'll probably fumble through a few of them, but you'll get the gist of the types of medications that are the examples of medications that are in each type. So the first type of medication that is absolutely linked with memory loss challenges for people are anti-anxiety medications. A couple of the examples of these would be like your Xanax, your Valium, Ativan is another one. Now, that's not obviously the comprehensive list. Just know anti-anxiety medications as a whole have the potential for challenging memory capacity. The next type of medications that are linked with memory loss are the cholesterol-lowering medications. You know them better as the statin drugs. Examples of this would be your Lipitor or Crestor. There are definitely a whole lot more of them, but those are the ones that are most commonly prescribed. The next type of medications that are linked with memory loss issues are the anti-seizure medications. This is like your Lyrica or your Topamax or Keppra, just to name a few of them. The fourth type of medications would be your antidepressant drugs, specifically the tricyclic antidepressants. An example of this would be, I can't even say these, Jay, Elavil, Tofranil, and Norpramin. Fifth on the list are those narcotic painkillers. That would be like your OxyContin or your Norco or Vicodin. Again, it's not a comprehensive of who's there, but just know that narcotic painkillers have been linked with memory loss types of issues as well. Number 6 on the list are the medications that are used for Parkinson's. Specifically, these are dopamine agonists. One of the examples is Mirapex. Number 7 on the list is much more readily prescribed, just like our cholesterol-lowering medications, and these would be your high blood pressure medications, specifically the beta blockers. Common one is metoprolol, also known as Toprol. Atenolol is also one of these types of medications. Number 8 on the list would be sleeping aids, specifically the non-benzodiazepines. 2 you've probably heard of are Lunesta and Ambien fit into this category. Number 9 on the list are those medications used for incontinence. These are anticholinergics specifically. An example of this would be Vesicare. And number 10 on the list are the antihistamines. These are the first generation medications. That would include like your Benadryl and also Tavist. I'm super curious, did you have any idea that these types of medications could contribute to memory loss as an issue down the road? Drop your comments down below. I would love to hear your feedback. Or you can also say, hey, I've had memory loss and yep, I am on one of these top 10 types of medications. Just remember, I did not put you on them. I am not taking you off of them. We are creating awareness about the situation, which is helpful. Now, what is a hidden cause of memory loss as it's related to medications? There is a type of medications that I did not mention in the top 10 types that are linked with memory loss. And this is one that people find themselves reaching for without prescription. So this is an over-the-counter group that people can use. And it's all of the antacid medications, specifically more like your Tagamet, your Pepcid, Zantac. Any of these types of medications that are used for acid reduction are also something that very much so could end up creating some memory loss down the road. There are other over-the-counter medications as well that we did not cover. Some of these are the rest of those antihistamine medications, not your Benadryl, not your Tavist, but everything else that we use that is an antihistamine. Lots of potential links with the rest of them, not just the first generation drugs. So here's the biggest thing. If you feel like you cannot make it through the day without using an acid blocker of some way, shape, or form, or you are constantly battling allergies and you use something more like Claritin, maybe not Benadryl all the time, but you're using Claritin, one of the best ways to avoid these medications is being something that is creating negative impacts with your brain function, is to really try to get down to the root cause of why you're dealing with those symptoms. You know, allergies are not something that everybody suffers from. Neither is too much acid production, which honestly, medical has that completely wrong. Generally, it's acid production and it ends up in the wrong place. Oftentimes, it's not enough acid production, so it's quite the opposite. Any of the medications, whether it's the top 10 types that I just listed off for you, or these hidden ones that we have access to readily, and maybe just we know what symptom it's going to help us manage, so we blaze right through all the other potential impacts it can have on us. We really need to get to the root cause of why are you dealing with this issue in the first place? If there's high cholesterol, why is it the case? And let me tell you, it's not always a result of your diet, and it's definitely not always a result of your genetics. You know, why do you have high blood pressure? If we can start figuring out the why behind how you're feeling, then you can create a plan that actually resolves the why, or at least improves the environment so much that you don't need to take medication. And if it is something like maybe the allergen, index is like way off the charts, or we this year in Colorado, of course, because of all the fires on the West Coast, we've been sitting in just awful air, smoke-filled air for a long time over the summer. That could be something that is just an extra trigger that maybe things have a time and place for like temporary times. Not saying that all of these are awful things, but I don't believe we should be on any medication long term. The only one that may not be 100% true on is high blood pressure medication. The rest of them, though, we need to figure out the underlying cause. And then once we understand the cause, we can create a better plan moving forward of how do we fix that. That would ultimately be the best way to avoid these extra components that are challenging you. There's research that's been done. Of course, it has not been broadcast for one reason or another, but there's research that's been done that very much so shows the best way to put yourself into the category of ending up with dementia or Alzheimer's is to be using prescription or over-the-counter medications. So let that be your motivation for figuring out how to get yourself healthy enough that you don't need any of these medications that you've currently been using, or if this is about your loved one, help them be able to accomplish that same task. It is much easier than what it sounds, I promise. Now, before I get into the best way to eat if you feel like your memory is slipping, I just want to take a moment and remind you to click that subscribe button, turn the notifications on. While you're down there, give me a big thumbs up. I'm doing a good job for you. I don't want you to miss out on a future episode. I am regularly producing videos around how to improve heart health and improve brain function, gut health, you name it, everything to help you be able to take back control of your health and lead you to that path of being unstoppable, which ultimately is about creating total body mastery. So again, click that subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and give me a big thumbs up. Awesome. Now, what is the best way to eat if your memory is slipping, and why is this actually important? Everything that we're doing in life has impact on our body, positive and also negative. And of all the variables, the one that we actually have control over that we are continually doing day in and day out is eating. We, hear me out, don't have to be perfect in this, but you really can eat your way to better memory. So just some simple principles to follow. Everything you know that is not healthy for you, you probably need to be avoiding it. Your brain is incredibly sensitive to all of that stuff that you're choosing to put into your mouth, okay? Your brain and your digestive system are probably the most sensitive and vulnerable to that, which is really unfortunate with the digestive system because that's your suit of armor on the inside. It is what is the gatekeeper that determines what is allowed into your bloodstream, which then has the ability to create direct impact on your brain. So that's all your junk food, your processed food, your prepackaged, your convenience food, fried foods, the things we know that are not healthy for us. But instead of belaboring all the things you should not be eating, what I want to do is share with you foods that you should incorporate into your daily consumption so that you can be really focusing on the good, putting more of the building blocks in that the brain needs in order to be healthy. So the very first thing you need to do is start consuming more of those healthy good fats, which is your coconut oil, your grass-fed butter, your avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil. Your brain is made up of fat. And if you're not consuming fats, these healthy fats, you're robbing your body's ability to even repair your brain or create new brain cells because you don't even have the building blocks for that. So healthy fats are critically important. Protein is also very important, but when you consume proteins, like I am not an anti-meat person whatsoever, I do agree that there are many health issues that come from meat, but it's not the meat itself. It's how Americans are raising them. It's what we're doing to the livestock in this country. So when you consume meats, protein specifically, make sure they're coming from clean sources that are, wild caught, or they're grass-fed, grass-finished. They're pasture-raised, cage-free. All of those things matter immensely. And then vegetables are your other main thing of focus. Majority of Americans are not consuming enough vegetables, which ultimately means you're not getting enough really healthy fibers in. And that is like where the majority of all of your nutrients, your minerals, your vitamins come from. So we need to eat a lot more vegetables. Eating what grows locally and is in season locally is going to give you just bonus points. So as I mentioned, focusing in on those factors is going to be anything and everything you can do in that direction is going to help really start improving brain function overall. Now, if you want a more clear example of what does it look like if you're just really cleaning up your diet and focusing on eating for brain health, then all you need to do is go down in the description right below this video, click on it so it expands out. Look down for the Eat Your Way to Better Brain Health meal plan. It is a 7-day example of what does this look like. It includes all of the recipes that are super easy to make. They are not too labor intensive. not a lot of ingredients. It does give you a meal plan that also will not have you be cooking every single day, because who has time for that? I know I don't. So these have planned overs in them. And then there's grocery lists in there for you too, just for convenience, so that you can just streamline this in to your regimen next time you're at the grocery store. So I hope that today was helpful, created some insight. Again, this is not me telling you just stop taking these medications. This is me telling you get yourself healthy enough so you no longer need them. And if you're healthy enough, don't you think your doctor would be excited that you could actually come back off of the medications too? Awesome, guys. I can't wait to see you on a future episode. Thank you so much. God bless.